Welcome back to the ground control station. Okay, so today we have a DaveMade straight 8 pill. All right, that we're going to talk about. Now, before I get into it, this is a locals amplifier. A buddy of mine, Mr. 203, speaks very highly of a guy named Lucky Dog. All right, Mr. Payne, who is Lucky Dog. I'm not a repair shop. YouTube, y'all guys know I'm not a repair shop. Customizations and modifications only. But at times, when people do reach out to me, I tend to, have a warm heart. So Mr. Lucky Dog's a pretty cool cat, man. And he wanted me to get this 8 pill over here and give it a look. So it's exactly what we did. All right, first, before I get into anything about this amplifier, guys, don't email me about repairs. Don't send me nothing about repairs. This is more so of, of like a favor. Although I'm being paid for it, it's still a favor because I do not accept repairs, Anyways, now, Lucky Dog, when we first got this thing, you had some piece of copper just wrapped around all of these bare wires. So we got rid of that crap and put some high amp terminals on here for you. And they're not huge, they're not bulky, they're like I say, they're high amp terminals. Screw the Anderson connectors. But all you need to do is stack them together and clamp them down with your power supply clamp, or you can put a high amp nut and bolt terminal in there and get you all wired up, okay? So that's one thing that I wanted to do because that was dangerous how you had that copper wrapping around there. Now, the second thing I did was I took out your remote, okay? The fans were wired up through the remote. You had power going through the remote, of course. Now, let me tell you about the remote. The remotes and any variables that you have on amplifiers are the two weakest links that are in an amp design, okay? Variables burn up all the time. It's another reason why these variables usually have a really big bleed off resistor from the variable to the ground. And those bleed off resistors, whether it's a 2 watt, 5 watt, metal or ceramic, metal or carbon, they get fucking hot, dude. So anytime you have a high drive amp, hell, even a low drive amp, and it doesn't have a variable, it's a plus. It's one less thing that can go. And trust me, the variables usually are the ones that go first, if they're not overdriving amplifiers and popping pills. Same thing with remote jacks. They can burn up a radio, man, if they become faulty really, really quick. Especially those Texas Star amplifiers, man. Like the Sweet 16. I got one. It's tucked away right now, back there. Just waiting, for a good day to drop a hammer on somebody's head. Anyways, so what we did, we disabled the remote. Of course, we repowered your relay. So this is new. All right, this goes from relay to switch. Hot bar, another hot wire, brings in the DC to your switch, okay? And we wrapped it with a ferrite, all right? Now, you had 2 caps, okay? A sheet of paper weighs more than one of these things. These are done. There's no value left to those capacitors whatsoever, okay? So here, grab my handy dandy poker. That's an original cap, and that's an original cap, all right? These still have great value. I also added this cap, this cap, this cap, this cap, and this cap. So not only now do you have double the capacitance, so this thing's gonna run just a little bit easier, man, okay? It's not gonna be starving for voltage. You definitely not gonna see major voltage drop down or anything like that. If you still want to add an external capacitor in between power supply and amplifier, that's cool. But yeah. And also, these are the wires that were all for your remote and all that stuff, okay? Also, we changed out your old school red LED and we put a blue one in there. No big deal. Let's see if we can get this thing to focus. There we go. Okay. All right. One of the resistors for your output combiner, blown. 10 ohm smoker, blown. $28.79 HG, blown. All right. So what we'll show you here is, here's your output combiner resistor, that blue. I replaced that with a 5-watt metal. Okay. And the pill that you blew or was blown was actually right here, this transistor here. Okay. As you can tell, these are all faded and old. Brand spanking new. And also, your 10 ohm smoker, that's a 2-watt metal resistor. All right? So we got this thing stroking, man. It's doing what it's supposed to be doing. Now, this is just an informative video for you, lucky dog. All right? In no way, shape, or form am I set up to build amplifiers or really do total reconstruction or repairs of amplifiers. That's going to be way later down the road when I start diving into amp builds and stuff like that. So it's still pretty cool to have something different on my channel, but by no means at all. You guys do not send me no repairs. Don't even email me about them. So like I say, it's straight up customization and modification shop. I just wanted to help out a local man and get his amp back up and running. Now, after we repaired that and got that squared away, we did retune the input and output circuits, okay? And this thing is spot on. Mr. Lucky Dog, that $29.95 is too much radio for this, okay? It's peaking 232 watts. You cannot use that radio and its strapped on amp and drive this, okay? Now I can see if it was doing 130, maybe 150 max, okay, then you could. So me personally, if I own this A-pill, I would drive it with just a Striker 955. So it's 70 watts peak of clean audio, clean RF. And I wouldn't even worry about the extra, 40 or 50, 60 watts of drive, man, okay? A Striker 955 would drive the snot out of this thing. And most importantly, wouldn't overdrive it, etc., okay? So, yeah, we got that all the way squared away. Like I say, very few components that were bad in it. We went ahead and did as best as we could, and she is back to work, and she is back to being a solid 8-pill. Okay, so also, there's no ground braid here on your ground nut, okay? And if this board wasn't tied into the rest of the chassis, I would have actually added some ground braid and soldered it to the ground, the copper ground board, copper clad board. But it's not necessary, man. It really isn't necessary. Like I say, this chassis is connected to ground. This wall is connected to ground. So, yeah, she's squared away and rocking, man. We'll get together and talk about the rest. Like I say, this is not content really that I'm aiming for, but I figure I'd put it out there and see what the YouTubers and the CB radio heads and the amplifier addicts have to say about it. No big deal. Well, we're going on just a little bit for this video. But I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate all my new subscribers. And hey, man, if you're new, come up on the live chat. Say hello. You know, QSO with some other guys. I got plenty of subscribers, man, who are just fucking cool to the bone, dude. I mean, just, I can sit there and talk to them for hours, man. So, just really good guys that are coming through my channel, man, and blessing me with, you know, with their interaction. So I appreciate you guys. Anyways, Lucky Dog, Mr. Payne, your straight 8 is ready and rocking. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And yes, sir. Original DaveMade. This thing is gonna scream. Anyways, Mr. Lucky Dog, you'll see it on the meters, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, another one in the making. All right, guys. Ground Control 204. Black Ops technology. And we're gone. Gone. Gone, 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 gone.